Hi, everybody. We're on week 5. This is my favorite week of all weeks. It's police work with juveniles, juvenile court process, pretrial, trial, and sentencing. I have to admit that pretrial trialing and sentencing can be pretty boring to some, but I always found it very fascinating. I would go to the courts and I would, while I'm waiting, because many times I would not be allowed to go in the courtroom. We'd be sequestered where we wouldn't be allowed to talk to other police officers or talk to anybody about our cases. So I would go to other courtrooms and sit there and wait to be called into the courtroom. I'd write down all the words and all the things I didn't understand. And that night, I would go look them up to see what people were talking about. Because quite frankly, lawyers have their own terminology. And I found it to be great fun. I'm hoping you do too. I did last week give you a bunch of places you could find that terminology, and I'm hoping that helped as well. This week we have, you get to answer 2 of the following questions. If you were a police officer, what role do you believe you would take with the juveniles? Law enforcer or social worker? What circumstances or factors impact your decision? I'm not going to try and sway you on this, but I have always felt that police officers are nothing but glorified social workers. I can tell you 2 o'clock in the morning, you're out there trying to get people connected to social services. You are really very much so social workers, but also your law enforcers. How do they intermingle? Write a response to the following. Should juveniles who commit serious crimes be automatically transferred into the juvenile justice system? Support your opinion. To answer this question, you would have to first ask yourself, what is a serious crime? So if you break into my garage and you steal my bike, I'm going to think that's pretty serious. But in reality, that's a misdemeanor crime because I got a $100 bike. So my question to you is, do you know what a serious crime is? And if you don't, you should be looking them up and saying, what do you consider serious? And what does the court consider serious? I can remember a father coming in to see me at work, and his son had been arrested for shoplifting. And you might have thought the world had come to a complete halt. And for him, it did. He said, all those dreams of my son going to, the Naval Academy will never happen because of this $25 item that he took with friends. And when you put it in that perspective, that's a serious crime to him. So, and the third one, this one is, you can find all the answers you want in our book, in the computer. It's explain what is an arraignment, pretrial, and trial in the juvenile court. And at what point can a juvenile get a sentence? And it's best to ask a lawyer or juvenile probation officer. I want you to know that every state is different, so keep that in mind. Well, I wanted to give you a couple sites that I think would be fun for you. The first site I want you to look at, the first place I want you to look is your book. Your book is fabulous on this. If you go to your book and you look at just chapter 12, chapter 12 has an enormous amount of information right in your PowerPoint that I sent you. And it will tell you, it talks about the police and the rule of law. It talks about police custodial interrogation with a child. And how is that different in Massachusetts versus Connecticut? And can I go into the school as a police officer and talk to your kids without your permission? What if your kid's a victim? Do I get to go in and talk to your kid without your permission? Can I go do an interview without ever telling you as a parent? You'd be surprised at that answer. I'm going to let you look that one up. Can we interrogate a child under the age of 13 for a crime, under the age of 14 for a crime, without a parent in the room, without a parent knowing? Those are all things you need to know if you're doing this. And it's good to know these. There's some really fun things to look at in here. Search and Seizure, Arizona v. Gant, that's been around for a long time. Those are great cases to look at. So, as I said, you have great sources out there for you. You have your PowerPoint that I sent you, but your book, I love this book. I have to be honest with you. I think it's a really good book, and it has a ton of information. I also want to show you a couple of sites that are out there. We have the National Association of School Resource Officers, and that will tell you what a resource officer is. Now, this used to be the Juvenile Police Officers Association group. And then they merged with the NASRO, and they're all together now. And so if you look at that, you will see get a lot of information, and you can find maybe something that will help you. You also have, again, the Office for Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Program. That's a great one. And then we have the Massachusetts Juvenile Police Officers Association. And they have some articles in here that might help you as well, and police officers in the school. All right. I think, I want you to go out there. I want you to look. I want you to see what that works for you. And this should be an absolute fun paper for you to write. This paper is going to be, let me get that for you, because it's 3 to 5 pages, APA style, APA format, and you'll be required to cite your sources in a minimum of 2 sources. Please read your rubric when you do this, all right? I want to go to week 6 now. So we're completely out of week 5, and now we're going to week 6. And week 6, you should be started already. Week 6, when you go to the module, this is the only paper you have to write. You still have to do your discussion, and we'll look at your discussion in a second. But for the paper, students are encouraged to choose a topic or theme. Now, some have you written to me on this, and I'm really excited for a couple of them. They're just really, really great papers that they're doing. And I want you to look at this, read this. I want you to note this right there, that 8 to 10 pages. For some of you right now, you're going, but you know what? If you find something you want to write about, it shouldn't be that hard. And I'm hoping that you will. So there's a lot of leeway in what you pick to write about. You can look at your book and say, that's what I want to write about. Or I want to write about school shootings because that's the juvenile. I'm going to let you do that. Because there's quite a bit of going on right now having to do with violence in the schools in juvenile. So you can write about that. You can write about just about anything you want in the book. Find something, feel good about it, and do it. But note, 8 to 10 pages. So when we look at our modules on this week for week 6, I want you to go to week 6. I want you to skip the first part of this where it really gives you a lot more work than you don't want to do. Go to week 6, go to your, and remember, this is week 6 we're talking about. You're going to have to do your discussion. And then you're going to have to go to your next one. Hold on. Your next module, and you can start that now. So you can start that right away. You can remember, this is an extended paper. This is worth 200 points. All right? So if you have any questions, always give me a call. Please write to me what you're going to write your paper on. My telephone number, text me, 413-883-3537, or email me. All right? I wish you all a great week. If you need anything, always feel free to call. Bye-bye.